I'm kind, I'm nurturing, I'm giving. What am I doing wrong?
Lonely in Truth, Cassandra's sister. Today I am with the wonderful Deborah Lawrence. It's so good to see you, to have you back. I am so excited about our conversation today. It's a good one. I can't wait. I have chills thinking about it.
Hi, Diana. It's lovely to talk to you again.
So, why don't we just dig into what you were talking about with the topic today that I never heard of? I
Right.
can't wait.
Oh, it follows on from our last conversation, Diana, where we were talking about our partners being on the autistic spectrum. And we were saying that on the dark side is the dark triad, where our partners might not just be autistic, they might be narcissistic, Machiavellian, and heaven forbid, actually psychopathic. I've had my clinic now for 35 years. And as a kinesiologist, we're always looking for balance. That's what we're looking for in somebody's body, in muscle state, in nervous regularity, emotions. And as a kinesiologist with balance, if there's a dark triad, is there also a light triad? And the answer is yes. And
Goodness.
obviously, working so much as I do with Cassandra's, I do identify so many Cassandras as being on the light triad. I think it's a terminology less people are familiar with. Can I just give you an example of what we're looking at?
Uh,
The light.
yes.
There are three components to it. There's humanism, pantheism, and faith in humanity. So really, we're looking at three components that we would consider kindness and good personality traits.
Oh,
If we're looking at humanism, we're looking at the value of others. We look at others with dignity and with worth. That's when we're first meeting somebody, and we assume those are qualities that somebody else will have. We also see that other people aren't meeting us for the means of their ends. They're not going to use us, they're not going to take advantage of us, which obviously the dark triad, that's probably their intention. We're the opposite. We are assuming that they're not being malicious in that way. And faith in humanity, we believe that in goodness. And so when I'm working with Cassandra's, you very often see this absolute look of shock and disbelief when they're finding out that their partner hasn't got the same intentions as themselves. Because very often in our friendship groups, probably in our families, we've got an understanding of these basic traits. Um,
right.
the other thing that I notice, and it is a thing with the light triad, is there's high levels of religious background, spirituality, um, life satisfaction, and acceptance of others. All these qualities that we believe, make us good people. So again, it's that shock of finding out that our partner is not of the same mindset and same
Right.
intention. Does that make sense to you, Diana?
Oh my goodness. It's this light bulb moment.
It
'Cause-
is a light bulb moment when you do see it. Because when I'm working with Cassandra's, they're always looking as if to say, what am I doing wrong? I'm a
yeah,
good person, I'm kind, I'm nurturing, I'm giving. What am I doing wrong?
right.
Um, because working with Cassandra's, they're very wonderful people. I love the Cassandras to bits because they're very intelligent, articulate, humorous. They find solutions to things. They're very
Right.
talented women, but of course, within the relationship, their personality and their energy just gets smaller and smaller and shattered and belittled. So to try and get the balance, what the Cassandra does is put the energy outside of themselves even further by trying to understand what's going on. They're trying to understand autism. They're trying to understand the needs of their partner and then children, undoubtedly. So again, the
Right.
energy lessons and lessons until, we get to a point where we're meeting Cassandras that are just shattered, absolutely on their knees, and
Right.
still, working so hard for their families and probably in work as well.
Mm.
So that's when most women hit rock bottom and go, what do I do? What's the alternative? And this is where we have to really work hard, because we've got to switch the energy around to look at ourselves. And yes, we are good people, we are nurturing, we are caring, but can we be too kind, too giving, too
Mhm.
subservient? And yes, we can. Which, most people will say, oh, you're being a bitch, Deb. How dare you say you're being too kind, you're too giving. Whereas actually, if there is too much giving, we're becoming enabling, we're becoming suffocating, we're screaming to a point, why aren't you listening? Why aren't you learning? All
Yeah.
those situations that we find ourselves in. So it
Gosh.
is that looking at ourselves and what are we doing? What are we believing? And also what have we learned from our culture, from our family? Because
Right.
we've probably come from backgrounds where we've experienced emotional neglect, and other people have
Yeah.
said, oh no, of course they love you, of course, and we get the toxic positivity then,
Well,
because it's not real. Yes, people don't
right.
want to hurt, they want to say something kind to us, but it's not our reality.
No,
We have
no.
to be very careful about how we pursue ourselves as well as our situation. I can see you looking quite shocked, Diane.
Just, I have to calm my brain because I have so much going on in there right now from what you're saying. Because a part of me is like, oh, yeah, no, duh. It's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, and
simple.
that's the
But
look I get from the Cassandras, where they go, oh, there is a part of me that I've got to look at. Oh, and it's hard.
well,
I'm smiling at the moment, but I know it's hard. It's
it's
really
very hard. So there's that part. It depends on what stages you're in, too. So
absolutely, absolutely.
you're so caught up in it because I've spent years. I'm in the stage now where I started looking at myself, but I'm telling you, I still go to therapy once a week. I
Yeah,
still end up talking about him
yeah,
because it's day to day living
yeah,
with it.
yeah.
So you just forget yourself.
And that's one of the
But
important parts for working with Cassandras. You have to hear their stories, their day-to-day chaos
yes,
and what they're
exactly.
coping with. And,
Right.
he did this and he said that, and I asked him this, and then that happened, and the kids
Yeah.
did that. Whoa, it's heavy stuff.
It
Yeah,
is. It is. And we're another thing we're always asking is, am I being overly sensitive? Am I being overly something? We're always questioning ourselves because it is so mind-boggling
yeah,
sometimes. And I
absolutely.
and I just want to, putting a name to it, the light triad. First,
Yeah,
I was thinking right away, just what you're saying that we do. Oh, something's wrong with me now. I have a triad.
yeah,
That's what came across my mind. But you're saying, wait a minute, the light triad, pretty much the opposite, that we don't see that somebody could be like this.
yeah,
It's not fathomable in our brain that
yeah.
somebody can be that we're just, we're thinking everybody is okay.
And of course, remember,
Is that
when we first meet our partners, they're masking, they're
right?
mirroring. So we see that. So
Right.
when the mask falls and the mirroring stops, that's where we're left going, what is going on?
Right.
Why why is he not reciprocating? Why is he not doing what he's done? And we think we're wrong.
Right.
We
Right.
put it on ourselves that they're right, we're wrong.
Are we doing that because of something in our past? Are we doing the fawning that you talked about, the people pleasing? But what bugs me about fawning, I have to be honest with you, it's like, wait a minute, I didn't think I was like that. I'm a strong person. I have boundaries. How could this happen?
Yeah. And
How do you answer that? How do you,
that's where we get the cognitive dissonance, because we know we're good people. We know that we
we're
look for the,
strong?
yes, but
Yeah,
also we're very tolerant of others. So
right,
we excuse them, we dismiss them, we enable them. And that's hard because we're finding solutions to family situations that are so difficult. If we
right,
can't rely on our partner to um, pull through with something that they've offered, look after the children, arrange something, we know we have to do it to save the
right,
situation. Sometimes, which are dangerous and life-threatening situations, we have to be there. We can't trust other people.
right, right.
But also an element of us that, why don't we trust other people? Yes, if they're messing up, we understand that. But because of those mess ups, and we know that we were parentified children, so we were the capable ones, we had to step up for mum and dad, maybe, or a brother and sister, or whatever was going on in the family unit. We know that we have those strengths, and it comes naturally to us. We see a situation, right? We know what to do. We'll
Yeah,
help out. We'll rescue that. We can do it at work, and we can do it at home, and we can carry
right,
it till we can't. Am I doing it wrong? Yes and no. I'm
right.
doing it because I can. Am I doing it because I should? Mm, different question. Yeah. Because there's so many times when I'm working with Cassandra's, and they sort of say, "Well, I'm going to let him mess up. That's on him now. He will." But when the children are involved, oh my goodness, the mummy bears come out big time.
Yeah,
We can't risk the children. And
right.
also, when there's a lot of disability with the children, how do you allow somebody else to look after them?
Mhm.
You're the best person to do that. If
I
somebody else
know.
doesn't do it well,
Right,
how are you going to feel? There's a lot of complexities to our lifestyle
right,
situation
right.
that we have to really look at. But again, with this light triad, we have to look at what we lack. And a lot of the time, we lack the bravery and assertiveness. We are good at problem solving, we're good at doing things, but
Right,
sometimes we doubt ourselves, and
right, right.
easier not to do things, and we very often have a wounded child, so self-esteem's not as
Mhm. Mhm.
high as it could be. So there's all sorts of things where we're putting other people's needs above our own.
Or,
uh,
yeah,
yeah.
right. And I say this on all of my videos, very much respect for the autistic community. We are talking about something different. We're talking about what Cassandra's goes through specifically.
Mm,
And our partners happen to be on the spectrum
yeah.
with these triads that you talked about.
We have to be very mindful, because, yeah, we talk about our partners on the spectrum, but we live with those qualities that, aren't all negative.
I
So
know. No,
the things that we are originally attracted to, the loyalty, the routines, things that we can value, but it's when we don't get a reciprocity, when we're emotionally
right, right.
neglected, that's when we get wounded, not physically. Being on the light triad, one of the characteristics is that we support others who are victimized. So if we see our partners being victimized because of their autism, we'll be their biggest fighter, we'll be the biggest defense for them. So again, there's a bit of a battle going on with us, because
Yeah.
yes, we've just given them a bit of a bashing for being it, but actually we're going to fight for them as
We're going
well.
to fight for them.
Yeah,
I'm
so
so glad you said that.
we look a bit bonkers because, well, I
Yeah.
was thinking that or doing that. So
I had an experience once where we are literally at a dinner and somebody was kind of making fun of my person
Yeah.
and kind of like, oh, he's this and that, and joking about it, and a whole dinner table around people. And I got this mother bear feeling,
Yeah.
dare you? You don't know him, you know? And yeah, the next day I'm saying, oh my gosh, he's so this and that.
Yeah.
We know they have a deficit too. And what is so hard is that we let ourselves go even further down because we know they can't help it. When you have the real narcissist without the autism,
Mm,
it's so much different.
mm.
And but now you're still battling with the emotional neglect, the stuff that is very similar and mimics the narcissism with your person with autism who can't help it
Because
in so
quite
many
a lot
ways.
of times, we are the opposite. We are mimicking them. Because one of the things that we'll criticize our partners for is, oh, well, they're not saying this, they're not committing to that, they're not doing that. We have to look at ourselves as well.
Right,
Because
right,
very often, if somebody asks us about ourselves, are we actually truthful? Because, oh, do you want to do this, Diana? Do you want to go there, Diana? And very often, Cassandra response is, oh, I don't mind. I don't care. I'll go along with you, which, to us is very accommodating. To somebody
right.
else, it can be blooming annoying. It's like, why don't you just say? And of
What you
course,
want.
we,
Yeah,
we, we do this people pleasing until we get to a point where we get frustrated and we get
right,
annoyed because it's like, well, when am I going to be listened to? When am I going to get what I want? But of
right.
course, we've suppressed it for so long by not being honest. So it's the sort of things in ourselves that make us feel a bit uncomfortable. But are we actually speaking our truth?
Right, right. It's a hard pill to swallow. It
It is.
really is. I remember a time when I finally lived by myself. I was in the grocery store. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what I liked.
Yes,
I
yeah.
didn't,
And you very often find as part of the autistic control, they become the shoppers because they will
yeah,
buy what they like, And if we throw something in the basket, we get the strange look as to why are you putting that in? I don't eat it.
yep,
But
yeah,
I do,
right.
and then we feel bad because we feel we're being defensive. We feel that, we're not entitled, yeah, yeah,
And as
we are.
much as I just is and I've had therapists tell me, well, just ignore it. Just ignore it and buy it, put in your stuff. I can't just get what I want without him grumbling about it.
Yeah.
Anytime that I hesitate to look at an ingredients, hurry up, it's just I can't shop with him anymore. I
Yeah.
do eat separately now, pretty much.
Whereas it should just be easy,
Yeah,
you get what you like, I get what I like, that's okay. But when there's an issue behind it, it's like, oh, perhaps I just won't bother then. And the other thing that
yeah, you don't want to deal with it.
the other thing you said, is about the humour. I think Cassandra's a wonderful. When we get together, the laughter is fantastic, and the dark humour.
Yes.
We all have a bit of protection with dark humour.
Hmm.
And we recognise it in each other, and
Oh
other people
yeah,
think we're being quite
I
horrible.
know.
It's very often one of our saving graces.
It
So.
is. It is. I almost feel like we're just such a special group of women, even though under the circumstances aren't great, but I love Cassandra sisters so much. They're like just my people.
So when we're looking at the light triad, we
Yes.
look at our partners, and if they are on the dark triad, they will make it all about themselves, and
Mhm.
will make it about themselves as well. So very often we have a weak boundary about ourselves, our achievements. If there's a narcissistic trait in our partners, eventually they will put us down because of it, and we shut up or we allow it to happen. We lose that ability to step up for ourselves. And yeah, all these dynamics that go on.
It almost feels like you can't, well, okay, so you can't be who you are, or you start to not be who you are.
That's
So
right.
you meet this person, you have these wonderful dates, they're wearing the mask, you just think it's great, and they're, mine was just completely everything I wanted. Whisked me off to Cancun for a weekend, just bought me things. It was so intoxicating. And I hear it all the time, that, and I'm sure you do too, until you live with them or get married. And then all of a sudden it's this person you don't know.
We
And
fall
so then
down.
little by little, because I think in the beginning, when I was dating, my boundaries, I had this, but you live with them. And then it became this financial dynamic. He made more money, and it started to just be this, and this, that his needs, his needs, his needs, and his needs. And it is a slow burn, a slow death by paper cuts issue, where we really are strong women. So when we say, oh, well, we're people pleasers and all of that, it's from probably years of just being put down, where we don't have that strength anymore. Well, I don't know if I want to say it that way. We just don't have, like me shopping. Okay, just get what you want. I'll go, I have to shop later and get something. We kind of cater to, in order to keep the peace.
Yes.
And we lose ourselves while we do that. It's not like we're doing something wrong. It just happens through time that this happens. So, right.
And, even in conflict, there's, good resolutions that we can find by finding the right terminology, the right way to speak, the right way to stand up for ourselves. But very often, we don't have the brain power for it. We're too shattered and worn down for it. So when we're trying to recover, we're trying to find our voice again. That's a hard one to find.
Now, I've heard, if you're really empathic, that's an imbalance. That's kind of from trauma too. So if I'm overly, oh, everybody's wonderful and good, that's from a childhood trauma as well.
Back into fawning. It really is hard work. This is where the hard work really comes. We have to look at our responses, the way that we are acting, what we are saying. What are we actually being truthful? Do you want to go there? Not really, but if you do, I'll go along with you. So what is the actual answer we want to give?
And when we put that strong boundary, I think this comes into the whole classic thing of, well, if you're a strong woman, you're a bitch. And then if you're this, then you're a loving woman. So I put myself in that. Well, I have to be this loving, wonderful person. And even when I try to be that, it still feels like it's a wrong thing. But actually, it's not. And so I'll do it, but it exhausts me. So I feel like, hey, I can do this boundary. I can be strong. You don't do this. You don't do that. But it's so not in my nature that it exhausts me
And
to
this
do
is
it.
where so many Cassandras find it hard to say no. And we're accommodating, we're loving the world with what we want. So to actually say no, and it might be not now. Yes, but it won't be today. So how do we use our no?
Oh, right. Just not right now. I'd love whoever is listening to leave a comment on how they may have overcome and set up a boundary. I would love to get comments like that to help each other. Because I feel that I've made headway, but it always is so exhausting. He'll say something and then I just shut it down, or say this, and I get all proud of myself. Oh, I did this good. It's so hard for it to come natural, but in reality, it's kind of a growth for us too.
Absolutely.
It's almost this in your face, this person is testing, hey, testing all the time so you can learn and grow from it. I always try to take the positive everything, but that's probably another I'm being toxic positive. You said something about toxic positivity. I'd love to talk about that too.
Well, it's when we're accommodating people to make a situation okay, when really it's not. We have to look at it really deeply in abusive situations, but it can be in everyday life as well, where a situation has happened, a comment's been made, and you know, somebody will just pass it off, oh, it doesn't matter. And that can be victim shaming. That can be, really undermining for somebody.
Oh,
So,
geez.
be careful, how we do it. And,
Right.
it's probably something that you've grown up in childhood, whereas
Right.
I mean, I'll use my personal experience. I can remember my mum, who's on the autistic spectrum. When I was 3 or 4, I I had this mantra, and all the family can quote it, and I just used to cry, "You don't love me." Well, actually, my mum has alexithymia and is very good at knitting and cooking and doing and you know, but she was absolutely not available for emotional intelligence. And as a young child, I knew that. So when my mantra of "you don't love me," everybody said, "Of course she does. Oh, yes, And actually, it's taken me years to realize I was right. She didn't. Not because she didn't want to or wasn't lovable. She couldn't.
She couldn't.
She couldn't.
Because that was my next question. But wait a minute, because I want to say the same thing. Wait, are you sure? She's your mom. She had this disability or whatever, and she didn't mean it and all that. But actually, she just couldn't.
Yeah,
She couldn't love.
yeah,
And she really couldn't love another person.
no, no.
Oh,
She wasn't on the dark side. She wasn't an evil person. She didn't mean to be
right.
unkind. But there was the alexithymia, so the emotion was not there. So it's
So so love as an emotion, love as showing love to someone else.
mm,
Maybe in that, in her, she felt something. Did she feel anything towards you as a separate person?
no,
No.
no, no. She knew I would. She knew my name, and even when my brother came along, he's the youngest. As a child, she couldn't tell the difference between boys and girls. They were just other little people. So we've had to do a lot of unpicking in our family. So
So
because
how can you love somebody if you can't see anybody outside of yourself?
because at 3 and 4, I realised my mum did not love
Gosh.
dad. She wasn't unkind to him. She made his meals. She went
Yeah,
places
but
with,
it's
but the affection was not reciprocated. She wasn't unkind. She wasn't cruel in what she said. It just wasn't
wasn't.
that emotional connection that I saw in other people. Yeah.
Wow.
We've gone deep, Diana.
I know. I love our talk so much. Oh my gosh, I learned so much from you. You're still my mentor. You're forever my mentor. I'm so glad that we could do this today. Is there any final words that you'd like to add before we go about the light triad
What
specifically?
I would probably say is that, have a little look at your own exploration of the light triad. See, if it is part of your personality. See if, where it fits with yourself. Even make comments. We can address it at another time and take it
Oh,
further.
great.
So yeah,
Love that. Okay. Yeah, leave a comment for sure about what you feel about the light triad. I'm just wow, I love this. So, oh, until next time.
really
Yes.
appreciate it.
Okay.
And we just love hearing from all the Cassandras and, you know,
Yeah,
getting them to a happier, healthier place. That's
exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
You take care, Diana.
Okay.